Pikes hardly flinched, 150 left to go, and the hot pot storms up, grab the lead. This is all over, it's all over, bar the shouting. The Empire reigns supreme. Western Empire won it by 4.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot, and it's Zipping Classic Day. It's our final show of the year. DK, the punter's punter, enters the studio.
Yes, Scooty, good to be my little spell with you. Good to be back. So show number 40, been a big year. We got through. So,
feels like we've been away for a month.
I know. Yeah, no, it does. It does. Yeah, it's true.
You're fresh?
I had a few too many gins and red wine last night, but usual deal on a Wednesday night. But a little bit grubby, but no, we were right, mate.
What about you, Nico?
Feeling fresh. Back at the track. Life's good at the moment. Yesterday was a great day, wasn't it? The sun was out there at Sandown too. We couldn't find too many winners, but hopefully this Saturday at Caulfield, first time in a while, the Zipping Classic's been back at Caulfield. So, interesting little program for sure.
It's been an interesting transition from Spring Carnival, Flemington. It feels like they've got the schedule right. I didn't mind Cranbourne Cup, where it was in the program, albeit on a bottomless track, but you can't control that.
Yeah, exactly.
Ballarat was good, and I really like the setup into Sandown this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. You can't control the weather, and that's kind of what happened there with Cranbourne Cup Day. Ballarat, was good. And then this Saturday, it's kind of just like the end of a lot of form. Me and DK were sort of talking about it earlier. Just, that Flemington form, can the horses sort of hold that sort of good form that they're in, or a few horses, a bit of afterthought. Spanish Missions coming off a Melbourne Cup into a Zipping Classic. It's been done before, but not with this sort of big break in between runs, usually only sort of, I think, 9 days or something like that into the Zipping Classic usually. But, it's going to be fascinating, that program.
What do you think about the schedule, DK? Do you like it, the way it sits now?
I don't mind it. Yeah, I think, the whole thing, we'd like to push it back a bit later and have the whole of November, and that's another discussion. But while the racing's time in the sun, extend it as much as we can. But yeah, as I said to Nico, it's about finding the horses that probably weren't afterthoughts as the starting point for the weekend. But we know how that Melbourne Cup rated terrific, so you can see why it's gone up short. But there'll be G Boss on it, throws another curveball. Been pretty quiet bossy, but anyway.
Well, everything's in full swing now, isn't it? You got night racing Friday night, Thursday night, all the metros and all that. So it's going to be a big summer as well. But Glenn Boss coming down is interesting. He's only got one ride there on Saturday. I think he's now in Melbourne. He's going to be staying here. So how much support he gets from sort of those stables, maybe that's a guide to the future. Him riding the big one for Moods there, maybe he sort of puts his foot in the door there.
Disappointing news from us. We're all set to battle the race club in a stream on Sandown, Zipping Classic Day this Saturday, but we had to pull the pin 11th hour. The TRC boys got approval from their sponsor Unibet, and we found out Tuesday night or early Wednesday morning that wasn't to be allowed. So
a backflip.
A little bit of a backflip there. So that's, I guess, the honest reason and the truth, and everyone's just disappointed we can't get the show on the road. And generally, this Zipping Classic Day at Sandown's a punter's fill-up, and, there's some shorties floating around the card, and it's just disappointing that we can't get the show on the road. But hopefully we can work something out, but you just never know. These things just pop up out of nowhere, so I think everyone's disappointed, and hopefully you can just follow along Nick's Mounting Yard Mail. The Daily Gas will be still pumping along there for a free trial, so there's still action, and hopefully we can find a couple of winners for you on this show. DK, deductions are still a bit of a nightmare. I saw a little bit of a rant from you the other day on Twitter. Little toys out of the cot.
Oh, yeah. I took the same. That was on Wednesday. We backed Satcham, and I took the same price in 2 joints. One joint got me for 13 cents, which is correct. The other joint fleeced me for 19 cents. Like Sincere Small for taking the same price. I mean, I thought I didn't know the intricacies of when the new deduction. Uniform deductions was going to be brought in, and then guys on Twitter alerted me that Aaron from RV when he was on racing.com said it was going to be a 6 to 12 month implementation. So that's why they're still all over the joint. But that was. You just feel like you've been robbed. Like it's just I won't say you blew them back and winners, but it's still robbery. Like it's just there's a correct deduction and there's getting robbed.
Just a little bit of a pinch.
Isn't that hard? Like 6 to 12 months. Like this needs to happen now. Realistically, like you go on course and it's all uniform, isn't it? So why can't it just be the same for everyone? Like you said,
you can see it's not in because Sportsbet are still betting deductions for emergencies. So their prices are still different, and then. You're betting with the joints who've got the extra percentage in their market to cover it, and they still want to fleece you on deductions. Anyway, yes, I was had a bit of a rant there, but that's all right, mate. We've been going all right, so it was only just annoyed.
Seems to be the only time you really worry about it is when you back a winner, isn't
and then
it? So that's a positive.
And Bet365, yeah, that's right. And what Bet365 do is that they do it differently as well. Is they take the deduction only on the winnings, not on your stake, which is something, so you get your stake back on top. So their deductions, it just seems even a fairer way to do it. I don't. It's a bit confusing for me, all that sort of stuff, but that does seem a fair way to do it. Why do you get taxed on your stake? Anyway.
Yeah, it seems to be an issue that's similar for harness racing and greys. We're talking to Mitchie Sidebottom on Saturday night, and Paddy McKenna was also in here, and even just getting on still seems to be a big, big problem. Seems a little bit better now that tab and retail venues are opening up. It's a big avenue for those guys to try and get on because their minimum bet laws are tiny, and I guess there's a bit of respite for WA punters. We'll talk to Terry Leighton about it later in the show, but they've finally pulled their socks up and got their NBL laws sorted there. So much, much easier. All punters want is a fair go and to be led on and just some uniform rules. It's been happening since the dawn of time on track, so we just need to clean it up from an online perspective.
That's big from a Perth perspective because if you're looking to get into, doing a jurisdiction, Perth's probably an easy one to learn because it's a bit like Adelaide used to be. It's the same horses, they race every week. You've probably got 2 or 3 really good jockeys and then it sort of drops off after that. So
dry tracks generally.
Obviously dominates, but dry tracks.
Less tracks.
So the NBL coming in there, meaning you can actually get on, that's going to be, I would imagine, a huge push for a few punters there, for sure.
So the difference was, we'll talk to Terry about it in more depth, but the difference was, on their major provincial tracks, is that you can go on to win 2,000, the same as the Metro winners, which I thought, probably something I think about here with Ballarat, Bendigos and Pakenhams and things like that. So,
it's proper racing. All the big names are there. It makes sense.
Exactly right.
You're only going to see turnover go up, so I think everyone wants that. God knows where we'd be without them. So
best horse in Australia might be over there at the moment. Wasn't that a win last week?
Western Empire. Terry declared that. He's on one podcast.
Oh, that's right. But you wouldn't see one win much easier than that. It would be up. What they're talking about is one of the best horses in the land up there now. So you see what they do with it.
Rated through the roof. I saw Dan O stuff.
Did it?
He rated it big. Punting form rated it big. So I remember Arcadia Queen kind of won in a similar fashion. I think she won the Kingston Town maybe. Sort of absolutely gapping him, and that was a massive figure on nearly all databases. So he might be a bit similar. I don't know if she ever got back to that sort of level, but she had issues after that. Where if they can keep him sound, he's going to be right in contention. Anything he runs in this order, I imagine All Star Mile or Queen Elizabeth, something like that. Probably all on the radar now.
Yeah, we're coming across very soon. We're going to have a bit of a freshen up. This will be our last show for the year. We'll definitely be having a stream on Gold Coast Magic Millions Day. DK is going to go up there on holidays, so he'll be a bit of R&R. So if you're out at a few of the establishments, I'm sure he'll sneak away from the family and have a couple of jars on occasion, DK. So he'll be menacing up at the Gold Coast.
Got an extra 600 to spend too, thankfully, for Greg Hunt. Thank God the bloody PCR test and then be covered by Medicare. It's going to charge you $150 a head because you've got to get one to go in before they get to 90%. And they're crawling to 90% up there. Not like, and so it would have been $150 per person and the $600 more than the airfares to get the bloody PCR test. But anyway, thank God Medicare's covered that. So I'll be up there, put that on the bar somewhere. Maybe Scoop might have a drink or something. So there we go.
Won't last long knowing how you go, especially on the rhurbarb gin, which you've given.
You want a review on the rhurbarb gin?
Yeah, go on then. Very good.
Yeah, very good. The missus loves it. With a bit of that blood orange zero sugar tonic. Complements them beautifully. So, hard to beat the rhubarb gin. Tipping a pig.
So the punters were getting around it. There was a few photos on Twitter. The punters starting to
influencer
DK. She's big. It's big. The gin. It's big. It's the new go, the new era of the gin. So find it. If you haven't found gin, you young blokes, find it.
Other news is Roll the Dice boys, Lee and Steve, doing a great job with horses like Ayrton and Profiteer and things like that. So I think we're going to set a bit of a budget for a horse, and a few of us guys in here might take a share in the horse with Roll the Dice. So if we can't find a horse at the Magic Millions, we won't be pulling the trigger. We want to wait, and we'll go to the next sale down the line. But we're going to slowly, dive into the racing horses stream, I guess, but it's definitely something we're going to outsource. We're punters, we're not experts, we haven't got our syndicator's license or anything, but the Roll the Dice boys are a good bunch of blokes. They've got a great eye for a horse. Jeremy Rogers is one of their purchases there, and
John Foot.
John Foot's the other one. So they got some results and proven success on the board. So we're going to start to get some of PVLs and this crazy prize money. So if you're interested...
When's Karaka? That's the...
It's around January, late January.
Yeah,
so if we can't get a horse at the Gold Coast and they're too expensive...
They've had a bit of success down buying out in New Zealand. They roll the dice, boys. So,
so it'll either be Magic Millions if we can't find one there, or we get outbid, we'll go on to Karaka. So slide into our DMs if you're interested, and we'll keep you up to date with that and jump into our mailing list. But won't be rushing into it, that's for sure. And it's just a little, I guess, a side interest because we're watching the races every day, so we might have a crack at trying to get a fast one there. So that's something that's working on in the background with our connection to Roll the Dice, but it's definitely going to be a collab with them, and we're still going to be trying to bet and find winners. Today's show is going to be an absolute cracker. Nico's going to do Sandown. Terry Leighton's going to have a look at the Group 1 Winterbottom. Muggs Moral, I think he's found one early in the card at Rose Hill. I think it's going to be wet weather everywhere. It's we're going to get Johnny McLeod and the boys from MacBet on the show, but they've got about 100 mil coming in the next 5 days up at Queensland. So I think it was the Gold Coast, the feature meeting on Saturday.
Or do they? The Bulmer's been just hopeless the last few weeks.
Vic, I think it's been... It's generally up that east coast. It's pretty
different,
accurate, but down here...
Yeah, legless. Absolutely legless.
So, yeah, we'll definitely check in with those guys a little bit later on. But big weather watch on your Rose Hill and your Gold Coast meeting. Probably won't even go long.
And they're conceding. Like they are conceding with their ranges of rainfall on the Victorian stuff. Like they give themselves a 25 mil range.
Yeah.
You know, I say Wodonga tomorrow. It's could be 15. It could be 40. You know. So there's room for error here. We're admitting.
If they were bookies, they'd be putting up 150% markets.
Yeah.
Huh? Picnic stuff like Casey McCutcheon.
Having a bet each way.
Huh?
Each way.
Just absolute robbery. All right, we might get straight into the Sandown action, but make sure you check out one of our sponsors, puntingform.com.au. It's a perfect time to start learning how to do form out of spring carnivals. So over summer, get into puntingform.com.au, have a chat to Sugar Shane Baker. He'll give you a tutorial on how to use the database. It's definitely been a game changer.
I just made some updates too, which one of those I mentioned to you a while ago. I said it might be better if you had this in, and it came in, those how they went on the day and whatnot. But so they're always updating, always adding things in, and making it better for the punters. So it's good.
Add another string to your bow. All right, it's time to have a look at Zipping Classic Day at Caulfield. Definitely not at Sandown. And the first race we're going to have a look at is race 5 on the card. And Nico thinks he's found one here. Steinem's the favourite, 360 into 350. Tricky Gal 480. Quantum Mechanic 550. Zing $12. Agreeable 13. Good and Proper 13. And Brazen Song has been tickled there, 17 into 15. The replay we're going to have a look at is Steinem coming out of the Empire Rose Stakes. And Colette's the winner here, back on the fence. And Steinem's widest, Nico, in the yellow cap.
Not even in the picture.
Not even in the picture.
Yeah, she was set a bit of a task here. We're a bit late to the party. She's been 6 into $3.50, but I still think that's a respectable enough price, given this is the Empire Rose. This is a Group 1. Easily the best form reference coming to this race. She's given no chance here. Like, the way the race shape sort of panned out and just how far back she got, she's absolutely charged the line. The run prior, she finished second to Colette on a wet track, which is probably her go. I think she's better with the sting out, but I'd imagine we're probably on a good 4 there Saturday at Caulfield. And, well, this is one DK probably knows pretty well from a dominant debut win at Pakenham, and then just went straight through the grade, started $1.60 in Adelaide, started favouring the Australian Oaks. And it feels like they've kind of set her for a race like this. Feels like they looked at the back end of the carnival, hasn't it?
And she's coming off having none. She had 14. She drew 14 or 14 there. So, and she hasn't had the toughest run. She's been out the back and ran home good. What about the map here though, Nico? I mean, she's a get back runner.
Horse,
but she did run well here versus Colette 2 ago, didn't she? And that's the right form, the Colette form.
Yeah, she needed a bit of luck from barrier number 5, but John McNeil tends to ride Caulfield very well. And like I said, I think she's been kind of set for this race. Like, there's a few horses on this sort of program that a lot of these races would be afterthoughts for them. Whereas I know when Steinem came in this preparation, they were looking at later in the spring. Okay, we'll look at an Empire Rose, maybe a Matriarch. This race pops up. She's had the gap between runs, probably suit her perfectly. She's only 4th up compared to a few horses, a lot more sort of deeper into their campaign. She'll need a bit of luck. She'll get back. I would imagine she's not last, like they're sort of having to spot them 20 length head start. If she's within sort of 5 or 6, I think she's she's definitely the horse that can run him down. The danger's probably Quantum Mechanic, who brings in similar sort of form lines. Like she comes through the Cantala. I suppose the knock with Quantum Mechanic is she carried the real light weights in the handicaps there against the boys. Like she's carried 52.5 in the Toorak, where she ran roll. She's carried 52 in the Cantala. Now she's got to carry 59 here, where Steinem just pretty much stays 56. At the same weights as what she's been carrying against very similar opposition. So, hard to beat. Probably the best bet of the day, Steinem. I think it's her race.
Yeah, and one thing I've done to clear is to clear, and don't think if you're saying you've missed the price because one joint, the scrote, have gone up the wrong price. You know, they haven't. That's not the right price. That's not where the price settles down is the opening price. If you say I've missed the price, because I mean you can't get on there. You know the way they're behaving now, they've tightened right up.
Mythical
you
prices.
Can't get on there, but mythical prices, and you've got all these bloke people, one man operators who they bet to win enough that they can just charge in. But if you bet with them over, if they put up $10 one, they'll bet you small bet and one into $5. I mean it's just. And then the price settles down everywhere at $5. That's the opening price, $5. So don't fry your brain about, saying I've missed the odds or anything like that. Where the price settles down, that's the opening price. Once you get your head around that, you'll be a lot better. So, that's just some advice.
A friend of mine the other day had to collect an $800 TAB ticket, I think it was, and he went to 4 different pub tabs because they didn't have the money in the
really. No cash.
Pay out. So I don't know what's going on there.
Got to find the right ones to go.
Or a
got to go to the ones. Got to go to the ones with the pokies. Must just go. Must be not little pubs. The ones with the pokies got plenty of cash.
I got a good story. My old man one day, I was playing footy in Somerville and finished the game afternoon game. Finished at 3 o'clock. Whatever. We had a horse running at 3:30, straight down to the tab. And he didn't have any cash, so he's trying to get, this horse was 30-1, Charlemagne's Girl. She ended up winning. He tried to get all this cash out of the ATM there, but could only get out, I think,
$200 lots.
Not enough. To get, he was like, this is immoral. He's declaring it. So he goes there thinking he's going to have an absolute fill-up. Couldn't get enough cash out, so the horse has won, but he's absolutely filthy because he's had not the result he wanted to have on it.
Disorganised.
It's gone by about 3 legs. It was the easiest watch ever on a 30 shares. I reckon I was 16. I had $15 on it or something. Just losing the little the machine right there, and all the blokes sort of standing next to us in the pub. He because obviously he trained it. And they said, "Oh, well, how do you own it or something like that?" He's like, "No, I'm the trainer." "Oh, did you back it?" And he's like, "Oh,
don't talk about the coma."
There's the price.
They always win.
And then they struggled to pay him out anyway. He couldn't even have the amount on he wanted. So
find the pokies joints.
Disgusting. All right, let's have a look at race 7, the Zipping Classic here, 2,400 metres and Spanish Missions locked into a very short price here, $1.55. As you said, G-Boss on. Warning is $4.80. It was a great Nash ride straight to the front and just rated that horse very well last time. Sound, $13. Wentwood, the Bendigo Cup winner, $16. Dr. Drill had that really good run against Charlie Rose in the Geelong Cup. Bit of a query. Strong run, 2,400 metres, I would have thought, against a horse like Spanish Mission. Luna Flare, 17. Silent Sovereign, 21. And much, much better than the rest. We'll have a look at the last 400 here of Spanish Mission, and we'll put DK into the fetal position with his horse Floating Artist, which halved in price, and a lot of punters out there, including myself, had incentivised going for a big result, and very elegant there she was. In hindsight, was a massive price. We didn't really want to layer on our Melbourne Cup preview show, but in hindsight, it's easy to see she was probably over the odds. But their Spanish...
that Cox Plate form, lead-up form, it just always holds up.
You see Spanish Mission there, just running into third, just a cruel DK for his each-way bet on Floating Artist there. But I feel a bit of a query, Spanish Mission, 2,400 metres. Bossy just has to set this horse alight early. How do they get this horse beaten? Is it just a moral, Nico?
Probably. I don't think
that's a grouse form race. That you got grouse mare winning, incentiviser top class, Spanish Mission's top class international, and we found that improver.
Yeah, I was watching.
There's 6 links to the rest.
I was watching the battle for third in isolation there. It was absolutely sickening. Anyway,
it's worse when that massive margin to fourth.
Yeah,
like if they fall in, and they're all coming at it. So.
Well, 300 out, the race was over. Very Elegant was winning, and it was all the odds.
You watch the replay.
Third.
Anyway, it's a good find. He's a nice horse, that Floating Artist. We spooked him all along, and
like this race, obviously, it's going to need time and things like that. But if this is the field we're going to get every year, well, this isn't going to work. The Zipping Classic, Warning second favourite, like he had the biggest gimme race ever in the Queen Elizabeth. They let him go straight to the front and nothing could catch him. Luna Flair was nowhere near her best. Wentwood was okay there. You get Spanish Mission. I don't know, it's kind of been a theme in this race for a long time. You probably get that one horse out of the Melbourne Cup. I think American might have won the Cup and ran a race like this. And Zipping was always the horse. It's his race, but he'd always kind of run a good race in the Cup and come and win here. Look, I don't think you can back him at $1.50. Like I could see him getting rolled, just the way this race shape could work out. Bossy's probably going to need to get him off the fence and building momentum. Do you necessarily want to lay him at $1.50? Probably not. It's probably just a sit back and watch.
You're allowed to watch races. Yeah.
If you're going to play margins, 2-3 lengths plus, just flare up a bit.
No, I wouldn't even bother.
I'd go 2 plus 3 plus lengths.
What I saw from this horse in the yard, I think he'll be a tough horse to train here in Australia. Like, he's not the greatest sort of moving animal. Looks like he has a fair few issues like he did coming into that.
Well, that'd be the query. That'd be the thing there.
So he's only sort of 3 weeks in between that. How much has that race taken out? We've barely seen anything back up out of the Cup so far.
The train's only gone for 2 weeks or something. Or 10 days.
Brutal run Cup. Yeah. Like, the figures are enormous. I doubt this horse drifts too much because the moles and that are going to be in love with the figures. So
yeah, our horses have run a lot worse than hit in the Caulfield in the Melbourne Cup have come in and won this race or run very well. So. Yeah, but Bossy the jock's not exactly on fire. You want to charge into short odds. You'd rather it was J Mac or D Lane or someone, one of the, or not G Boss.
Warning's probably the danger. Like, Ollie could send him straight to the front from one, dictate the race, control. Like, he's a genuine second pick. Like I said, if this is the field, it's going to produce this race.
Who's on it? The GOAT?
Yeah, the GOAT.
Yeah, the heck with the GOAT. Yeah, new man, the GOAT. Banderas the other week. Jim Conlon says, drop it out the last and let it run home, Ollie. Ollie, straight to the front.
Straight on the bunny.
Bless. What about his ride on Yonkers? On there outside Linda in the thought of that. How about that for a ride?
Got a beat. Thought of that. Was in Linda's head too much by the looks of it, just sort of sitting there. He controlled the race, not even leading.
Fine, the
It was an amazing ride.
He is going well.
Going good to go.
I find him. I've been fighting him. I've been blessed lately. I've been just hitting Ollie when he's about $5 or $6 or $7 up to double digits.
Yeah, that's it. He got $6.
Really well
God bless him.
But I'm going to just back off him. Out of season, bad races, horses run around at $2, $3. Have a look at the punting form data. It doesn't lie. There's certain times where you take Oliver and there's certain times where you lay him or bet around him.
Group 1 Bossy and Group 1 Ollie these days as well.
That's good banter. He's not a bad jockey. J-Mac goes all right too. He's probably the new goat. Caulfield race 8 is the next one, the Eclipse, Keno Eclipse Stakes. Our Playboy has drawn barrier 1 here. Interesting draw for it. $2.60 out from $2.50. Star Real $5.50. Royal Mile. One of your horses, DK, $6.50. Been $8.50 in. Bonavici $9.50. Ducon $11. Sosi Bon. What a horse. It has been $11. Regalo Di Gaetano $12. Defibrillate $18. And Excellent Man. Tough last start win $21. Hangman $31. And much better rest. We'll have a look at our Playboy last start at Cranbourne, slugging away in the heavy 10. I thought he was in the right part of the track. The track was playing fairly for him, wasn't he? Here he is, slapped wide, but got a mile out of his ground.
Yeah, he just gave him too big a head start, didn't he?
Got beaten by a champion.
King
Must
Magnus.
be a champion with M training it. Winner. Anyway.
The roar from the crowd when King Magnus got up, like, they'd say, you'd think Black Caviar won. It was absolutely enormous. I think every one of the locals backed it there. Because the local horse. Looking at the race, our Playboy's just got way too far back.
Last 50, he's charging at him.
Entire field. Now he draws barrier number 1. He's going to get a very economical run.
Gets a rider change too, doesn't he?
Yeah, D Lane goes back aboard, who won on him, 2 starts ago. I think if the only concern for mine would be he might need a bit longer between runs, but he is stepping out in trip. So that was a really sort of brutal test. He had to do a lot of work to get into that race, but now he's going to have a very soft run here. Well, yeah, he's just going to need to present.
Heavy back to dry. Is that a way?
Any danger getting coffined?
Big chance.
I would think he's probably...
Because if Flemington is able to come around, come back, and come around to the rear of the small field.
We're going to need a good ride, but I don't think there's much opposition. Like Royal Miles, the second elect, comes over with D Lane Jr., Jay Opperman. He looks exactly like Damien Lane in the saddle, watching him over in South Australia. Like, it was a good win last start, but He didn't beat much. He'll probably be the danger. He'll be up on speed, sort of rolling along. I think if our Playboy sort of gets the gaps, gets the right run at the right time, you got the man on for the job. Looks like off that run, he's looking for 1,800.
Didn't the market hammer it in that Cranbourne Cup too? It was a big go. They were in love with it. It was a big run.
Up last prep, he absolutely bolted in the Sunshine Coast Guineas. So
he's only won once on a good track, so he's won from 11. Read anything into that?
Yeah, well, I think it was in a Vain Stakes though, wasn't it, or a race like early days?
The Flemington win was good. That was in a good track.
Yeah, so that was a good win. He won a Vain Stakes. Oh, that was a soft 6. Sorry. So yeah, he's probably better with the sting out, like the market probably told you last start. But yeah, I think he'll still be hard to beat here, no matter what. There's just not much opposition in this race.
Royal Mile, DK, honest.
Oh, he's a good horse. He's a winner. Actually, there would have been interesting coming to the stream because the Sultan, who would have been on the TRC team, he's a bigger fan of this horse than me. We'd had posters on this. He's backed this horse all the way through, in love with it. So we might have been our Playboy versus it. He can come down in the stream, but it's not. But yeah, no, he's good. But whether he's the same class as our Playboy, but no, he's a nice horse. He can find the line. He's a winner. But he's probably stepping up in grade here.
Give it a head start. That'll be in his favour.
Yeah,
it's a cracking. It's shattering that we haven't got the stream because even the Kevin Heffernan, we haven't really got this on the run sheet. But I Am Superman against horses like Asia's Chivalry, Crosshaven, Rainier, Streets of Avalon, and I think Surprise Baby's coming back.
He's back.
What do you think of him coming back?
Yeah, G. Bedge, good. Gav, good man, Gav. Used to knock around with him in the old days. New camp, and he's had some success. Like he does whatever he does down there. He can reinvigorate horses. So, and he said it went like Geordie, and he got Jay Childs on it too. And Jay Childs knows the horse, obviously, rode at the Melbourne Cup. You'd want to see it have a run back, but apparently they took it there for a gallop the other morning. Went terrific. So, and we've always been a fan. We tipped him in the Melbourne Cup 2 years ago, Scooty.
We did,
remember? So anyway, but all those Fatani, Mr. Fatani, taking all his horses off Prushka and giving them to B Brisbane and G. Bedge, good. All very interesting how that all panned out. There was a big blue with Prushka or something, I believe. But anyway.
Fascinating stuff. All right.
You look at the owner, like he's got horses with everyone.
Fatani.
You see those kind of owners, so I don't imagine they're that easy to deal with.
No, there's some very high maintenance owners. There's another joint that's sent a horse to 4 different trainers, Sack G Beg on
especially when they're like, you get 3 in one state or something like that. You can understand it like, like say roll the dice when they have horses up in Queensland and Sydney, you've obviously got to have different trainers. But when you got 3 or 4 in the same state, it's probably a bit of a guide there to they might not be the easiest to deal with.
I think they had all their eggs in Weary's basket, and I think when the Weary saga unfolded, it forced roll the dice
they were big Weary
to then expand, and then now they sort of try and place horses for courses. So if there's certain trainers that work with certain breeds or things like that, they try and place them with whoever's going to be best suited to that horse, which I think is a good model. For me, it makes sense.
Yeah, early runners, give them a price can. If they're staying horse or whatever, give them someone down the beach or someone's going to take Mar Eustace.
Griffiths to Cock.
Yeah. I'll tell you what you do. When you hear you pick trainers, if you're just basic, go and look at the trainers list. Get a follow that's there on racing.com. Premierships, and you go down and you see who's got the best strike rates.
Yeah.
And then you see who's got the worst. And then you say, well, I won't be giving them a horse. As I said, King Magnus must be a superstar. They train at 5%. Other blokes, Mar Eustace, go at 20% or something.
What's your strike rate going at for your tipping at the moment?
I've got to update the results, Scooty, but we'll see.
Very strong.
We'll see how this thing goes today first. I've got a live one today, Nico. But we've gone all right lately, Scoot, which is good. Found something for the punters, and they're all happy.
You're up and about.
Up and about, yeah.
Nico,
but it was funny. It is, actually. I'm just sorry to interrupt, but Nico, this caper, I think after I had a strip-out cup week and then a couple more got beat and, sit down one night and as Harry Finlay says, you think, am I ever going to win again? Am I ever going to win again? Because I just can't hit the target. And it took to going out of that maiden with Burning Power. I just had to think a little bit outside the thing. I said, well, it was basically class 1. I knew all those horses. And so Burning Power was good to us on the track at Tachuka. He shit in for us. And then he said, well, stick with this horse because I knew him. And it's got us back on track.
There you go.
It's a good time of year to do that. Like there's going to be a lot of horses who, come out of similar sort of form lines, especially in the summer. We're going to race each other.
Yeah.
So if you've got an opinion of one and say, okay, this horse can get to a better level than this one, it's probably the right time because the market can struggle to line them up sometimes as well.
But I can sort of line them up how I'm looking if they're all in a maiden.
Yep.
And I know all those horses. I knew Audrey Girl and all those things and whatever the Yatton and I think Patton or whatever the thing was called. And Lambourne asked me and said, do you follow those horses out of their grade? And I said, it's not something I do, but it's maybe something I should do more of, especially when you look at ones so I can line them all up. You know,
increase your turnover. If you want to increase your turnover, make sure you check out Nico's stuff on Saturday. No stream, but he'll be out there at Caulfield, so he'll be eyes on ponies and mounting our mail.
First time in a long time back at the Heath.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Get out and about. And we'll also be, the Daily Gases still extending the free trial there, so make sure you check out those two products, all via Telegram, and in the shop for DK stuff as well. So DK's more of a sniper on the provincial circuit, so head to Little Birdie shop for all
Another
your
6 weeks for
racing action there. Everyone's seeing them pretty well at the moment. All right, we'll take a break, and we'll get Terence Leighton on to talk Group 1 at Winterbottom over at Ascot. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. We've got DK and Nico in studio. Now it's time to talk Ascot. We didn't do last week's Railway. We tipped up the winner there, Western Empire, on our stream, our harness stream, because Terry had a rubber stamped it. But here he is in person to talk about the Group 1. Terry Leighton, how are you, mate?
Very well, mate. Thanks for having me back another year on.
Oh, I don't know. I think we had you back in April, didn't we?
Is it?
In the autumn, I thought.
I thought we give him. Been a long time.
Yeah. I thought we got you on.
I thought we might have given him the lemonade.
No, never a lemonade.
He thought that too.
I thought about it. So that's all right. That's all right. But no, it's good to be back, guys, and we're thoroughly enjoying the nice weather. It's 35 degrees for Winterbottom Stakes Day on Saturday. So looking forward to getting out there and having a couple of lemonades myself.
Now it's Christmas time. It's Christmas time for Perth punters. The MBLs have dropped.
Overdue.
All of a sudden, long overdue, you can get on to win 2 Metro Gallops and Bunbury, Kalgoorlie, Northam and Pinjarra, and then all other racing 1K, and it doesn't stop there, the Greys. This is a really weird one, DK. For the Western Australian Greyhound Association, it's $750. To win $750 is an odd amount, and then non-WAGRA meetings, it's $500, and then the harness, it's $1,000, and then non-WATA, it's $500. I'm not sure why you'd put $750 on the dogs. What? You should just jack it up to $1,000.
Let's just get Terry to clarify what's non. So is Cannington, and what are the joints that you can get 500 on?
It's a weird one there. But,
Northern Dogs. I'm not a big dog follower. Northern Dogs, I'd imagine they have once a year meetings or twice a year meetings at a few little obscure places they're probably talking about. But look, you sort of brought it to my attention. I knew it was all coming up. But what type of issues am I going to have if I go on at 9 o'clock this morning and try to back one at Belmont today? Do you reckon they're all going to let me on, all my VARD accounts?
I would have thought so. They'd have to.
I reckon I'll encounter issues. I reckon they won't.
Well, you'll have to. The ones have been barred or you've been locked out, you'll have to get in contact with them.
Ring them back up and say unlock.
Yeah. You just got to message the customer service or whatever and say, tell the trading team to unlock the accounts as per MBLs, and they'll all do it. But pretty much, there's a few make it a bit difficult for you, but most of them will do that.
Geez, looking forward to blowing the dust off a few of the old accounts. Mate,
it's the best.
I'll tell you what, I'm a bit like, it's a bit like, remember that day Rahul Dravid and BVS Laxman batted all day, and we had no bowlers left. I've got no bowlers left, boys, so I'm completely and utterly out. So
you can bet in your own name.
God.
Some of those joints, it's like winning double, just collecting off them, just feels so good.
You can effectively, again, I'm probably asking silly questions. You can effectively go through your 9 accounts there is, or whatever there is. You can bet to win 2 on each. So you can bet to win a liability of 18,000 if you just sort of
correct.
Absolutely.
Correct, mate, correct.
Breath of fresh air. And all of a sudden, it makes things sustainable. So you can actually craft out and earn on the front.
And Terry, obviously, we probably brought it to more of his attention. I was just saying, what's the timing on it, Scoot? Do we know that? Have they brought it in from the moment markets go up? There's not the original 9 a.m.
9 a.m. Yeah, 9 a.m. race day.
Oh, you're 9 a.m. race day. Okay.
So you just got to try and get everyone on board to not knock the prices off.
Because the biggest thing back here, Terry, which is reinvigorated for us guys, is when they've finished that 9 a.m. race day. Mm-hmm. So being able to bet the day before, it's been huge for us and our services and things like that.
And the pre-9 a.m. grubs.
Yeah, it was shocking.
Yeah, there's plenty of tipping services out west, and they all tip either the day of or early the morning before 9 a.m. They post. So if you know you're going to back one, which is maybe a data horse or one that some of the subscription services might be looking at, it's hard to have that patience to wait to 9 a.m. because you might be taking $5 instead of 10.
Exactly right. And a few of those, as you said, the data ones, as soon as they punch those scratchings in at 10-8, then they bet. By 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
most of the cream was gone.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but there will be some. There will be some. If you're looking at a trial or you're looking at one you think you might have found sort of a little bit obscurely, and then the best part is you go on Betfair and it probably jumps double the price anyway. So it'll probably
Exactly.
end up costing you money. They'll probably lift my limits on the accounts all across the board anyway. So it might be a blessing in disguise.
And happy to cop that to win 2,000 in the bush.
Exactly.
You'd cop it. You have to cop it.
The strong provincial maybe.
Yeah, strong provincial. You have to cop it back the other way, maybe a bit of timing because. Back in those ones, Banderas and Burning Power, those things are back to the Metros, those winners. So much easier to bet to get on to win 2K.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier. It's just easier than backing it all over the joint to win 1K.
Yeah.
It's a massive, massive step in the right direction because this has been talked about for a really long time. And I think it's only New South Wales that need to now come on board and let people bet from the get-go with their minimum bet laws. And it's a chain reaction. Once you start to get a couple of jurisdictions over the line like RV, it slowly improves and gets better for everyone. And fancy that. All it does is increase turnover. Yep. It just gives us a fair fight against the corporates. All right, let's have a look at Group 1 Winterbottom Stakes. There's no VIX here, so it should be easier for Terry here. Elite Street's the red hot favourite, 240 out to 270. Will Chino 440. Graceful Girl, Eye Catcher last start, 650. Stage Man $12. Red Can Man. Horse that we'll know a little bit over here on the Eastern States, $14. Indian Pacific, 16. Triple Missile, 21. Cup Night, $26. Get out to $31 for horses like Rock Magic. But let's have a look at the two favourites in the market here. Elite Street in the lilac or purple. About third last, peeling out on the outside. He's got a lapper horse here, Terry. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, no, it is. Lead Street's been chasing Mervyn down. So Mervyn's the grey you'll see out in front there. Mervyn is probably the biggest stopper in WA. So it's been sort of setting a nice bunny for Elite Street to chase, but you can't really knock the win at all. I think that's the Colonel Reeves we're watching here at the moment. In the Colonel Reeves, he actually carried more weight than all of them because it was set weights and penalties. So he meets all of them anywhere from 4.5 to 2 kilos better. He's doing very little wrong, and it's hard to see any of the horses from the Colonel Reeves turning the tables on him.
Here's Will Chino just sitting just in behind the leader there and extending away.
Yeah.
What's with this runner from Barrier 1?
It was the quickest run at Ascot since, it was I think Haydock was 0.001 of a second quicker in the 18, 19 Winterbottom Stakes. It was a good 3. I think they forgot to put water on the track that day. It was a good 3, but she was carrying 60 kilos at her first go at 1,200, and she's just about set a track record. So it's quite funny. You're talking a Group 3 heading into the Winterbottom, and you're talking a 72 plus ratings race. Like usually the Group 3, you'd go, well, that's the form reference we want to be more worried about. But the horses coming through in these 72 pluses, and I wrote about this, and it sounds stupid. I reckon they're better. I reckon that level up, the group, the weight, set weights and penalties horses have been around forever. They've all had a million chances. You got Stage Man going in third favourite, Money Matters going in about third favourite. They've all had a million chances. These horses coming through the ratings races, running quicker times, who potentially have the more upside. I don't know. I reckon that's just about a better form reference, which makes this a very interesting race to analyse if you're going with that mindset.
And traditionally, the Winterbottom's won by horses sort of in the first half of the field. I've tended to notice a bit of a pattern for the last few years, and I think that probably plays into the hands of Will Chino, I would have thought. A question, Graceful Girl stepping up to 1,200 metres. If it was a 1,200 metre race the other day, do you think Graceful Girl runs past Elite Street and the Colonel Reeves?
Good question. Maybe, but I do think that Elite Street, Brad Rawiller had something in the tank on Elite Street there as well. Elite Street's more of a racehorse than Graceful Girl. Graceful Girl's drawn 18, and I actually said, if you're on Graceful Girl, well, if you're about to back Graceful Girl, you'd want her to draw wide because she can't jump anyway. So she's going to be last if she draws barrier 2 or very close to, or draws barrier 18. So, but I think Elite Street had a little bit left in the tank. But out of all these horses moving up to the 1,200 from the 11 the other day, Graceful Girl's the biggest beneficiary. But yeah, I don't know. To win from last, I think Elite Street's going to have to get held up and Wilchino's going to have to get a stitch. I think she's going to need a lot to go her way. And I think because of her colours, she'll probably start slightly under the odds.
DK, you're itching to ask a question.
Yes, I was itching to ask too, because I see just mentioned him, B. Rowella, one of my men. And I have a love-hate relationship with B. Rowella.
I think everyone has.
There was two hashtags that used to get a good work in here: good Brad,
Bad
and bad Brad. And so my question is, how's he going over there? And how are you having some luck? Are you having some luck backing him and things like that? He's a good rider, but he can ride him a bit cold sometimes.
Yeah, well, if you asked me after the last, it's Belmont, Ascot. Where were they yesterday? Belmont yesterday. It would have been hashtag bad Brad. I loaded one for the day, and it was an out and out stay. You want into it from the 1,000, and from barrier 9, he's taken it back 5 back the fence. So
That's bad, Brad.
That was hashtag bad Brad. That was hashtag bad Brad. I'm actually doing an interview with him in a couple of hours, so I better be nice here. That was bad Brad, but no, all in all, Brad Rawilla, horses, the biggest thing I can say out west is horses are going for him. They travel so nicely for him. If he's 3 or 4 back the fence, he's not a jockey I'm excited about. I almost feel like I can throw my ticket in the bin to some degree. But if he's in the moving line, getting the horse going from the bend, he's getting him going as well as Pikey or Chris Parnham out here. So he's a jockey I trust, but on a certain type of horse. And he seems to have figured out Elite Street. That's why if Elite Street drew barrier 1, I probably would have gone even harder at Wilchino, to be honest with you. But barrier 10's the right gate. It's a good Brad.
Good summary. That's it.
Love that.
Yeah, well, it's how he won the race last year as well, Elite Street, just sort of blending in down the middle. Then he came to Melbourne. I remember Dan Morton saying in a lot of interviews, he's going to be better next prep. He's going to be better next prep. He came to Melbourne, saw him in the Lightning, went to pieces in the yard, rated awful in the Newmarket, and then went to the William Reid and improved lengths in the yard and ran a lot better. So when he came back sort of this preparation and now he's really sort of kicked on with it, didn't surprise me at all, because it just, like Morton kind of said, it did look like he just needed a bit of time. He put that picket fence up coming into the race last year and sort of everything went his way. But he won that race last year at 30-1. I only know because I backed him.
Yeah.
But is that how much weaker this race is this year, that he's 270 now?
He's also proven, I mean, you got to remember last year he was coming off a 72 or 78 plus or ratings win going into the event. And I just think we all thought, going at weight for age level, a 79 or 80 rated horse can't beat these Victorian 110 rated horses. He should be getting 50 or 15 kilos off, but I think our mindset, and mine in particular, has changed probably going into this year. Well, it's like, well, ratings are there, but they're all just numbers. Wilchino's an 89 rater, but give it 1 start, maybe give it 2 starts, give it 3 starts. Wilchino's going to be 105 rater, and she's only going to be able to compete at weight for age level. So the numbers are sort of irrelevant, and I think we're more willing to look at potential rather than what we've seen. But a lot of it's come down to at Elite Street what he has done now consistently. And apart from that Melbourne campaign, he's barely put a foot wrong. I think Brad Rawilla's actually 5 from 5 on him as well. So yeah, it's a fairly imposing record for the two.
We've got to mention the top weight, Rock Magic. I think he's having his 6th run in the Winterbottom.
Yeah, it's his 6th run. Horse. He's run 3rd 3 times. Good friend of mine, Michael Gangemi's the part trainer. They'll be seriously emotional when he leaves the racetrack for the last time on Saturday. They've got a little bar out the back, which Michael's actually redone himself. He's done all the work and put the windows in, set up the bar and everything. It's called the Rock Magic Bar. And if the other bars are too busy, you just sneak out the back and you just make sure they like you and they let you in, and you go and drink on Rock Magic for the night. So he'll be gone but not forgotten. We'll be drinking in his honour for years to come, I reckon. But I won't be having a cent on. I give him none at the age, but and I've invested a fair amount of money in this race. I would genuinely be happy to lose every single cent to see him win. And I actually mean that. And I was born without a heart, so that's quite a lot to say that for me.
You're getting soft. I think it's a cracker. It's the stage is set there for a great Winterbottom, and I think that's what they deserve after a bit of a whitewash. But maybe a star was born in Western Empire, so it'd be a cracking contest. I'd love to be on course, and it'd be an absolute cracker, I'm sure, with such an emotional moment with Rock Magic. And yeah, what a contest there with Elite Street and Wilchino. So definitely Terry's pushing the way of Wilchino, and given the map and the history of the race, I'd probably go the same way looking over those replays. But certainly Elite Street and Graceful Girl with W Pike steaming home will make this a grandstand finish. Terry, what's your next best on the program? One of your best out wide?
Well, we're working without odds at the moment in WA. We're not getting odds till about 11 o'clock on Thursday morning, which is a bit disappointing in recent times. But race number 4, a horse by the name of No White Flag, super trial, super first up. Sean McGrady basically sat up from the 200. He then encountered a race with a lot of speed, and for a horse who maybe steps a tiny bit slow, it was always going to be interesting if a few of the other ones came out quickly, and they did come out quickly. He was crossed, and a bit like a lot of the Machino stock in WA, if they're crossed, their race is over. So he was beaten 5.5. There's no speed in this. He can step slowly, still muster to the front. I'm hoping there's an overcorrection in the price. I think he'll lead win. I think he'll lead win and do it pretty simply in a $100,000 race. It's pretty thin. I've got him $1.75, $1.80. Yeah, I'm hoping we see something high twos. That'd be nice. And I think it'll be a pretty easy jump. If he gets to the front, all over.
So that's race 4, number 2, No White Flag, all one-word name there.
Surely we've got to have a look at race 3, Secret Plan. Chased home Willicino last start. Maybe it might go up $1.40 or something like that with that sort of grouse form line. But Mervin's in the race, so he'll set a good early tempo. Maybe it's one for the punters, a bit of an anchor on that program potentially.
They were the two, to be honest with you. If you were giving me asked for a second one, it would have been Secret Plan. I actually think we might see an okay-ish price here. You've got to remember Triple Missile started shorter than the last start. And you've got a horse called Resort Man who everybody loves piling into every time it goes around. And so I'm hoping there's a couple of runners. Plutocracy went through the last start, the Colonel Reeves as well, which allow us to get something 250, 270 again. But look, Secret Plan was a better run than Triple Missile. As you said, there's that much speed in this race, and Mervyn always stops, especially over the 1,200 metres. So I'd be very surprised if Secret Plan is getting done. And yeah, anything starting with a 2 will probably get me involved there. So yeah, pretty keen Secret Plan as well.
Outstanding stuff. All right, I think there's 3 winners there, and in a COVID-free world, we'd find a way to get to Perth and massage a little Holiday Inn and put a stream on and claim a bit of a tax rort. So hopefully this COVID thing settles down in time, and we can get across there for a Winterbottom or a railway at the end of Perth and come over and
have a 12 months before McGowan opens the borders, though, isn't it? 12 months.
Yeah, I think it would be probably cherry ripe. So fingers crossed at the end of next spring we can come over and we'll get the Perth boys to do a stream and put on an absolute clinic because they are sharp judges. Make sure you check out the 1-1 podcast if you want more of Terry's action and if you want to follow Perth more closely. And now, as Nico says, now that there's minimum bet laws, it's a great place to start your betting journey as a pro because there's just a smaller pool of horses, only less tracks and less variables over there. But the jockeys, sometimes a bit tricky.
Sometimes a bit tricky. Yeah. That's well said. Very, very diplomatic. I think that's exactly how I would have said it too. So,
two jockeys ride 60% of the winners, don't they?
Well, you could probably go as far as saying throwing Clint Johnston Porter and going 3 ride 70% of the winners or 80% of the winners. So
it's the other 30 that's the hard part to come about, isn't it?
How's the Pontiff? Is the Pontiff still going there, Terry?
Yeah, he's got a leg injury. He would have had a ride he would have had a ride in the Winterbottom. Actually, good. IC Red would have been his mount, who was probably stiff last start, goes around 50-1 the race. He would have been on IC Red, but he's a little leg injury, but he's still going around. He hasn't smiled for about 25 years, but he's still there and he's still popping about.
Yes, I love the Pontiff.
All right, fantastic stuff. Thanks, Terry. Good luck on the weekend.
Thanks, guys. Enjoy your weekend.
That was Terry Leighton from the 1-1 podcast. Make sure to check it out. Weekly podcast. They're superstar blokes and elite judges on the punt. All right, now it's time for Muggs Moral and get his best up at Rosehill.
Hi, guys. Muggs Moral here for the last one for 2021. It's been a good year for the first season of Muggs Moral. But next year, I want more winners to more losers. So the Muggs Moral this week is race 9, number 4 Brook Spies. Jumps from barrier 12, Nasrawilla, top jockey will get it. It'll be just off the pace. Be storming down, so got some good first up record, good first up form, good wet track form because we'll be betting on the heavy track. So, Brookspire, race 9, number 4, and 1 in the highway, boys. The mug doesn't like betting in the highway. He can't pronounce the name, but it is race 2, number 1. Race 2, number 1 in the highway. I've had this black book for months. It looks a good horse. Matty Cole comes into town for one ride. Looks a good horse. There's your winner. So the Mugs model is race 9. Number 4, and another small bet, race 2, number 1. Good luck. Thank you for the opportunity, Little Birdie Bet Doctor and the boys. I'll be back next year when the show comes back. And what does the mug say when he finds a winner? Go find your bookie. Good luck, boys.
Big GWS man, the mug.
GWS.
Right? I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit greyed up with that. Race 9, number 4, Brookspire at 480. And then he's had a black booker for
What's the one he can't pronounce? He can't pronounce it.
Participator is the horse.
Can pronounce
Race 2, number 1, Participator in the highway, and it's 3:10 at TopSport. He might have got him around the wrong way. His B set might be his A set, but he doesn't know himself. Eh?
I'll tell you what, it wasn't no Mugs Moral, it was whatever that corned beef or something. He said he slaughtered all of that. I'm like, how can you butcher corned beef? Seriously. He's blaming the butcher. The bloke, what was it? The corned beef with the white sauce. That was one of his favourite dinners, but not anymore.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Lamb chops and
I
schnitzel.
wonder what in the special white sauce. How would Mug go on the lobster fluffy omelette, you reckon, from the tea house? I
think he'd inhale it, swallow it whole.
Would he?
2 bites, I reckon.
But he's not too exotic for him?
I tell you, I'd like to see Mug punter at the flower drum just to really let loose.
He'd be like
couple of drinks.
He'd be like Gary when Gary Roberts tells his story, and then Bo Rogue won a Group 1, and they took Jeff Perry, the flower drum, and they ordered dim sum to start, and he said, no, I don't want dim sum, I want dim sims. So you can find him some dim sims or something like that. Then he's flagging down Gilbert Lau saying, Gilbert, can I have some tomato sauce? Put tomato sauce all over his dim sims at the flower drum. That's what Mug would do, I reckon. Jeff Perry. Gilbert, tomato sauce.
Oh, sacrilege. Yeah. All right, let's have a look at TopSport's steamers. The early money at TopSport. Caulfield race 4, number 7, Curran, $1,005 in the Doveton.
Okay, plenty of panels will keep buttering up here, won't they?
He's becoming costly after his last 2. I've been on his last 2. I don't know, like the 1,000-metre race he ran Caulfield Cup Day, it looked like he was just looking for 1,200, got to 1,200, now he looked like it was too far. Maybe he's a bit Goldilocks, I don't know.
What's this? It's 12,000
metres.
Oh, back to 1,000.
So, tough sort of horse to assess, but easily at his best. Probably deserves to be favoured there against Enthar as well. So there's a fair few angles in that race. That probably looked one of the tougher races of the day.
And the next one is a tricky race as well, but you've got a track specialist here and distance actually. Race 9, number 1, Streets of Avalon, loves 1,400 at Caulfield, but deep race this one.
Completely set for the race. Was talking to the owner Cup Week, and he was kind of saying that they ran in the Sprint Classic because there was no horses in it, and they just had to throw at the stumps. But this was the race I was setting him for, the Heffernan round Caulfield. So, maybe the early money suggests he might be near his best.
And the next one takes on Mug's Moral here. Race 9, Rose Hill, and it's called Jump the Broom. 500 at $8 now, $8.50. It's 1-2.
One down here the other day, didn't it? First up.
Jay Ford on board, one at the Valley, so one at Geelong, Spell, and then
looks like it's come back well, didn't it? Because all the jump out groupies are all over at first up. Like it's made in its first start went okay and won, but it wasn't that impressive. It's obviously come back a much better horse. It's improved.
Yeah, it killed him at Moonee Valley. By 4 or 5, didn't it?
And so that's a top.
They have some luck moving states with their horses. They brought that mare down here the other day, one that maiden at Moonee Valley.
I remember that.
Didn't have much form, but went like a rocket.
All right. That's it. So no stream, unfortunately, on Saturday, but make sure you head to the Little Birdie shop. That's a wrap from us. It's 40 shows for the year, so we're going to all go into the paddock. Big thanks to TopSport and Punting Form, our major sponsors. We'll be back next year. It's going to be a great little freshen up for us. Big thanks to our AV guy, Borko. He's done a fantastic job clipping it all up. And all the guys that have jumped on and supported all the shows and the streams for the year. Big thanks from all the team at Little Birdie. Big thanks to you, DK, making the march in. You've been on fire.
Yeah, no, keep it going for another, I think we've got 6 weeks. I'm doing the service up till I go away anyway, and then I'll have a little freshen up and we'll kick off again. So I think Go find a few more winners get the Christmas turkey for the punters, Nico. Very important, find the Christmas turkey.
Yeah, I think I'll be similar. Punt right through the end of 2021, maybe quick freshen up start of 2022, and then we'll be right back into it. Comes around quick, autumn 2022. Like February, we got Group 1 racing. So
Yeah.
you just have a little spell there
was
till
saying,
January.
What someone saying, but I'm not sure which good horse it was, but it's had 3 weeks in the paddock and it's back already. I think it might have been Barbara. So it's had 3 weeks in the paddock and it's coming back. It's got to get up and going for the spring, over the autumn.
So all the tips and all the subscriptions will continue on in Little Birdie Shop. So we'll be all sort of still working remotely, still betting. But enough from the shows. We might try and do a make-up stream somewhere. But I think the next stream that we're going to lock in will be on the Gold Coast Magic Millions weekend. We'll try and get the MacBet boys. And Walt
back.
will be free.
He's free. We've got 2 weeks to go.
Unshackled. So Johnny Walter should be there for the Magic Millions as well. So
Countdown's on.
it's the 15th of January, so we'll see everyone back there. Thanks for all your support back home, and we'll be in touch and keep following us on our YouTube and our Twitter channels, and we'll see you soon. But thanks for a great year.